3, 2, 1. Jai Janendra, there are moments in life when we have the rare privilege to sit with someone whose presence itself is a source of wisdom, compassion, and transformation. Today is one of those moments for me. It is an absolute honor to welcome Pujya Sadhviji Shilapiji Maharaj, a beacon of selfless service and spiritual grace, whose life has been dedicated to uplifting others. As a disciple of the visionary Acharya Sri Chandanaji Maharaj and a pillar of Virayatan, she has helped transform thousands of lives, restoring sight through free eye hospitals, educating orphans and underprivileged children in Bihar, Gujarat, Rajasthan, and rebuilding communities after devastating earthquakes. Virayatan's impact extends far beyond India, nurturing Jain values in schools across London and Kenya. Today, we have the extraordinary opportunity to hear Pujya Sadhviji's story, her journey, and the profound lessons she carries. This conversation is a gift, and I am deeply grateful to share it with everyone listening. Pujya Sadhviji, please could we start by just reciting the Noka mantra?
Sure, yes. Namo Arhantanam, Namo Namo, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Namo, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Namo, Namo Uvajjayanam, Namo Namo, Namo Loe Savasahunam, Namo Loe Savasahunam, Eso Panchanamo Karo, Sava Pava Parasano, Mangalanancha Savesim, Paramam Havai Mangalam, Paramam Havai Mangalam. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pujya Sadhviji. So the first question I wanted to start with is talking about your childhood and your early life. So your life currently is a testament to deep compassion and selfless service. But I wanted to ask, before Diksha, before you renounced the material world, who was young Pujya Sadhviji Shilapiji? What were your dreams, your thoughts, and what was your world like as a child?
Yes, I'm born and brought up in Delhi. And I'm born in a Jain family. And it was not a highly religious family, but it was a decent with good values. So when I was 14 or 15 years old, I had this idea, or I had this kind of thought in my head that what's the purpose of life? So why do we live? So even if we die today, we are not going to be remembered. Or if I die at the age of 60, it's one and the same thing. So that was the search, and I was trying to find the answers for this. I was deeply attracted to the divine teachings and spiritual things, but I was not finding the ways. I was a fairly bright student in my school and college days. I did my master's with computers and finance from Shri Ram College of Commerce of Delhi, and it was a research. It was a query. I was looking for the answers, and then I wanted to tell my parents that I want to do this, but I just could not communicate to them. Then one day there was an exhibition in my college. They say, serve man, serve God. So I thought probably this is the answer, or this is the way I want to live my life. Maybe this is the objective of life. So I started going to that center and starting spending my time over there. And finally I decided that I would join this organization. So I tried to talk to my parents, especially my father. So he said, no, you cannot do this.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of tried to convince him many times, but he was not. So one day I just left for that organization and wrote a letter to my father that I want to do this in my life. So he was very upset, and then I reached there after 3 days journey to Arunachal Pradesh. And then I was called back. My parents called me, and then I came back after 3-4 days. And then everything was normal. And then no one was talking about this, Yash. So I told them that this time I told you where did I go. Next time I'm not going to tell you. But this is my journey. This is my calling. And this is what I want to do. I wasn't sure about renunciation because I was never exposed to this. But I never wanted to lead a normal worldly life, having a partner. So I thought this is kind of too limited for me. So then finally, my grandparents took me to Virayathan. And from there, my spiritual journey started formally.
Wow, that's really inspiring. And the question I had was, so why do you think your parents or your father was not willing? Was it because he was worried, or was it that
No.
it's not a normal path that everyone else does?
Everything, yes, because he was worried and he was unsure whether I really meant this. Definitely attachment with me, so he never wanted me to go for this path. And he thought it's too difficult and I'm not mature enough to take decision. It's too early.
How old were you when you decided?
I decided everything at the age of 18, 19.
Wow.
But finally I reached Virayathan at the age of 22.
22.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. And I wanted to ask, so life is shaped by defining moments. And I'm really curious about the moment of clarity when you decided. So initially you weren't sure whether this is the path you wanted to take. But was there a moment of clarity when
Yes. So I stayed there, like I joined my Gurudev Padrama Muniji and Acharya Chandanaji. So they are the source of inspiration in Virayathan. So when I reached there, my parents, my maternal parents, 10-12 people came to Virayathan with me. And they thought that I will just stay there for maybe a week or 10, then I'll come back.
Yeah.
So after 2 months, they would come with a return ticket and they would persuade me to come back to Delhi. But then Gurudev said to me that you first study, understand what is a spiritual path and what is your real calling. You really want to do this, because sometimes these things can be very momentary.
Yeah.
You listen to a talk and then you are suddenly inspired and then you want to come back to this world. So that I was deeply involved in the studies and the work which is being done, work which Virayathan does. And then after, I think about 3 years later, I sat one day in front of that Vaibhagiri mountain and I said to myself, let's think through what you really want to do. And you know what is this path, and now you are very clear about the commitment of this path. So my heart clearly said to me that I really 100% want to go for this path. And then my heart asked, what will you do? And then I said, I would like to dedicate my life and I would like to spend my time in realizing who am I, touching experience of God, and do whatever good work comes in front of me. And yes, I'm very happy that I took this decision.
And so we're so lucky that you did, otherwise we wouldn't have SCVP in London.
Yeah.
So young people today, especially in the Western world, we often feel torn between focusing on the spiritual journey and also the modern life, like you said, getting a job and getting married, having children, etc. So renouncing the material world is something very few of us can even imagine. Like we see Sadhvijis do this and we really admire them, but we just don't think it's something that we could do. So looking back, was there a moment that you had this doubt or any difficulties, and how did you overcome that? And what?
No, I never had any doubt.
Okay.
And I wasn't attracted to materialistic world anyway. So the day I renounced, I was very happy because there were no colored clothes in my cupboard, all white clothes, and I was very happy that I will not be forced to go to any market for shopping because I get very tired. And then also I thought that it's a lot of competition, who is wearing what jewelry and who is not wearing. So I never found this very interesting for me.
But you still did your college degree and finance. So
I did my master's.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then I was doing my MPhil. And then in between, I came to Virayathan. So I think I was very much at peace. And materialistic life never attracted me one thing. Second, renunciation is not leaving something, Yash. Renunciation means achieving something, gaining something.
Wow.
So, I always say that when you climb on a staircase, so when your first foot comes onto the step, then you are confident and you can lift up the second one. So renunciation, when you start getting something from within, you start experiencing something from within. So leaving this worldly life is just very natural.
Right, it feels like the obvious choice
Obvious,
to do.
yeah, and when the fruit is ripe, so automatically it falls down from tree. You don't need to pluck it. So when you are, something very beautiful happens here. So renunciation automatic takes place.
Wow. And
if you are attracted to the worldly life, then renunciation becomes a very big thing.
yes, I feel like for me as well, if I just look around me, the material life is the life that I know. The reason I'm at university is to get a good job. The reason I want a good job is to earn money. But it's kind of that cycle. So what advice would you give to a young person to get that transformation? You said that if you find that one glimmer of hope, then renunciation is easy. Or what advice would you give to
renunciation, in my understanding, is not in your hand.
Okay.
You cannot do renunciation with determination. It's just love with God.
Okay.
It happens, Yash. It's just calling from within. Some people want to become doctor. You want to become an engineer. It's not very, you just want to do it. So same with the renunciation. You cannot plan for it.
Okay.
You cannot take a formal decision for this. It just comes out. So whatever life you are leading, you just be happy in this life. But you make sure there should be some purpose in life. You want to have your degree, want to earn money, have a wonderful partner. That's all absolutely fine. But this is not the end of life. Right? This is something more to achieve in life. So with your external development, make sure you have internal advancement as well, which will make your life more balanced and complete.
Okay, that's really meaningful. And I wanted to just touch on your training. So you said that you used to study all the Jain scriptures before when you were training. So what was that training like? Was it mental, spiritual?
Everything, yeah. So you happen to study all these scriptures, and then your faith is very important. So whatever is being said in the scripture, does it make sense to you? Does it really mean to you? And then exposure to this life. So the simplicity of this life, the discipline of this life. If you think that you are ready for this, that's the training period. So you observe yourself, your guru also observes your clarity, your dedication, and everything cannot be said in words, but your loyalty to this life is being observed or is being tested. And if they think or I think that I'm ready for this, then it happens.
Okay, that's really beautiful. And I wanted to touch on your guru, Acharya Sri Chandanaji Maharaj. So Acharya Sri is a remarkable and visionary leader. Please could you maybe share one or two moments when Acharya Sriji has inspired you, even maybe when you were training and even now today?
I think she's just an amazing soul, Yash. And I think her love is just amazing. Her capacity to love people is extraordinary. Something is, I would call it a divine love, by which she is able to bind a lot of people around her or with her, I would say. So Veerayathan is absolutely a new path. She started this new journey of doing good work. Otherwise, spiritual, now people never do this good work. And despite this new path, she's able to bring a lot of people along with her. I think it's just because of her unconditional love. So she has this magic of loving people. So, and when she says to people that I want you to do this, people just cannot say no to her. That's her aura, that's her magic. And because of this, Veerayathan is able to progress so much across the world in the last 50 years. And being a woman, being a sadhvi, it wasn't it wasn't an easy path. But I think she is very courageous, very courageous. So she's a combination of many virtues. So her courage, her capacity to love people unconditionally, decision-making power is amazing, and her determination. She thinks that if a thought comes to her mind, it's going to happen. So that her conviction of doing good work, even at the age of 99, she continuously thinks what difference she can bring to humanity even at this age.
Please, could you give maybe one story or anecdote about when Acharya Shri has given unconditional compassion to someone?
You know, when she reached Rajgir, so Virayatan was not yet made. So they were residing in a place called the Kambar Koti. So there were 5-6 Sadhvijis were staying there. So one evening after the prayers, so some Sadhvijis were doing job and some Sadhvijis were studying. And then she said to everyone that tonight is a little bit difficult. So at 11 o'clock, many robbers came, many dacoits came. There was nothing much money or some very less belongings, but they said, whatever you have, just give it to us. And they started beating Sadhvijis,
Wow.
So she said that whatever is here you can take, but don't really torture or give hard time to my Sadhvijis. And she shouted for help, but it was a very difficult night. So whatever we had, all the clothes also, they took all the money, whichever was collected from Virayatan. So there was nothing left. So in the morning she went to a khadi store to get some clothes. So at about 11-12 a.m. the police came. And then the police said that we know who these people are. So you just identify and tell us that we will punish them. But she said, I don't believe in punishment.
Wow.
I don't want to give any hard time to anybody. I just want to say that please don't do it again. So I don't want to give any punishments to them. So, people love you, Yash, you can love them. But if people give you hard time, still loving people, not an easy thing. And she just forgave all the people. She knew who these people were, but she just forgave. So this is one of the highest example of unconditional love for people.
I really love that story because I think I've asked you this question before as well, but I think many times at work, at university, in life, there are times when, like I said before, some people don't respect or value you. That's where you feel they don't respect you. So you feel you need to step away from the situation and set your boundary. But would you say that if you just keep giving unconditional love?
Yeah. Even it happens in my life. Many times people don't respect you. Sometimes people, they have a habit of backbiting and things like that. But you just need to send your love to them. And also I'm very clear, Yash, certain relationships are the relationships of mind and heart, and some just brain. So you need to understand your relationship with the people. I keep saying that some people just not with you. So we don't need to worry too much about that. It's like that. Just accept and be indifferent. But for unconditional love, sending messages every day will reduce the tension. If not that very great, but at least you can work with your mind, intellect a little bit more peacefully.
Thank you, Sadhviji. Pujya Sadhviji. So I had one question, which is advice for young people and people who just do seva in general. So oftentimes when we do some selfless service, we receive compliments from people saying, wow, you've done incredible work, and you feel uplifted. But then sometimes you start to feel too happy, and then you start to feel guilty that you're feeling ego. So, and then slowly the seva goes from selfless service to just service because you lose the selfless part. So there's two parts to this question. The first was, how do we ensure that the desire for recognition doesn't cloud our intentions to do seva? And secondly, how do you recommend that we take compliments? Because it's quite hard. I find it hard when people compliment you. I don't know how to take it without feeling egoistic.
it's very tricky, people will compliment you when you start doing some good work. But if you are little bit detached from those compliments, then you can save yourself from the ego part, right? Because in the beginning, people will appreciate you. But if you keep doing this good work, then people know that you are doing this good work. So probably they will not appreciate you same time as every time,
Yeah, at the same level.
At the same level. In the beginning, they will inspire you.
Yeah.
But then they know, that when they know Yash does this, so that becomes your identity. So they may or may not say the same thing or same level as you said. So that time you should be motivated enough to do good work. Your concepts, your vision should be very clear. It should not be because people will appreciate you. They may, or because if we are doing this good work because we want to get appreciation, that means your happiness is dependent on people's appreciation. So they may or they may not do. Then in that case, what happens then? Your motivation is appreciation, not helping people. So you should be self-motivated. Your vision should be clear. Why I'm doing this? Otherwise, we get lost. Why do we do this? Because it's, to do things selflessly, it's very hard. You do a job because, at the end of the month, I will get a paycheck. That's a motivation. That's an inspiration. That's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
But, for example, when I started this Chandna Vidyapeeth with the blessings of Pujya Taima, so my vision was clear because I wanted to make sure that our religion continues in this foreign land and wonderful kids like you. So I was really worried that if this religion is not taught to you, maybe you will forget it, or the entire generation will miss without understanding the beautiful teachings of Bhagwan Mahavir. So that was my motivation, that was my passion, that was the reason for me doing hard work. And after 30 years, when I see people like you, people like Kevali and many other wonderful kids who are grown and absolutely understand the values of Tirthankar Mahavir, it gives me great satisfaction. I don't really care what people say and what people appreciate, but when I look at you all, I feel very happy. Very happy. And the same in Kutch, when you bring difference to the lives of challenged kids or downtrodden kids, and when they get degree, and it's amount of happiness on their faces, that's incredible.
Thank you, Pujya Sadhviji. That's really meaningful because I feel as though many people do struggle with this, handling the ego, because obviously you want to do good and ego is a natural human instinct, but I find it hard to actually tell myself to not feel the ego. It's kind of hard. Like you tell your brain not to feel ego, you feel more. Yeah. So. If you have clarity of thoughts, why are you doing this? If you have love for these things, you really don't worry about your ego. The most important thing, your passion and love. For example, I love Taima. So whatever I do for her, I don't really expect anything else in return. I just want to do it. So, for example, you do something for Chandna Vidyapeeth because you just want to do it. What society says or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you should love selfless work. If you want to do this, then do it. Don't because of people's appreciation. That's just a byproduct. People do or people don't do, it doesn't matter. Thank you.
Doesn't matter, Yash.
I had a question to do with the earthquakes. So, just for everyone who doesn't know, on January 26, 2001, a powerful, devastating earthquake struck the Kutch region of Gujarat, India, causing widespread devastation and taking thousands of lives. So in moments of disaster, the human natural instinct is to run away from, danger and chaos. But the Virayatan Jain Sadhvi Sangh, you chose to run towards it and help people. So Pujya Sadhviji, I wanted to ask, could you kindly share the thought process that Taima and yourself had when you witnessed this suffering and you decided to move towards the chaos and what you experienced?
Taima was in Bihar and I was in Pune. So she came to know about this earthquake separately. I came to know whilst I was in Pune. So when she came to know her birthday celebrations were going on, she announced that we are stopping these celebrations and we are going there. She's a natural healer, so wherever need comes, she just goes there. And for me, I think it was calling. So I was so moved. Many times you hear about these natural calamities, but I don't know what happened to me when I heard about this Kutch earthquake. I just wanted to go there. I just wanted to go and help people who were there. So with the permissions and blessings of Taima, we reached there after 2 days, and we saw there were more than 20,000 casualties, and people were just directionless, and lot of military, police and everything. I was about to complete my doctorate PhD.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So then there is a place called Jubilee Ground. I just stood there and asked myself, what do you want to go do? You want to go back to London to complete your studies? Or you want to stay here? So my heart said that PhDs can wait, but not people's lives. So I took a sabbatical from the university and decided to stay there. And then definitely Acharya Ji immediately came, and with the blessings and her kind of courage, we started the work in Kutch.
Wow, that's beautiful. And please, could you just share 1 or 2 inspiring stories for someone whose lives have been touched by Veerayathan? Because many people hear about Veerayathan's good work, but really hearing the stories, I think, inspires other people to make a difference.
Yeah, there are so many people, thousands of lives are transformed. So we run a school in Rudrani. It is school for very underprivileged kids. So Veerayathan organizes transportation, education, free meal every day, uniform, everything for last 23 years. It's a village where this school is for the kids who their entire families were never exposed to any education. So we managed to provide this education. Now kids from this school, from very challenged background, so 2 kids are in Scotland at the moment.
Wow.
And they are doing their research over there. And Veerayathan supports many students who are single parent, because Veerayathan started its work in Kutch basically to support earthquake affected orphan and single parent kids. And it was very, I would say, sad to see the children who lost their mothers. So I strongly feel, Yash, that mothers are just representative God on this earth. So kids have no mothers. I think their whole world is lost. And we had kids who suffered with the loss of their mothers. And then ever since we have been supporting kids like single mother kids. So mothers who cook food, they are peons in the school, and they do household work for other people. So their children have become big engineers.
Wow.
They become pharmacists, and they are giving back to the society and supporting their
And
parents.
that probably has a ripple effect, not just on the individual family, but across the community as well.
Across the community, yes. Across the community.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have maybe just one anecdote or one particular child that comes to your mind when you think about this transformation from maybe when you saw them at an earthquake and then now where they've come to?
Yeah, so there was a girl called Shruti. She lost her mother during the earthquake. So when she came to her camp, she was absolutely devastated. So we gave her soap to take bath. So she started eating that, and she was very devastated. So one day some people came in and they wanted to give some sweets to all the children. So I asked Shruti and her brother to sit in the line, because we had about 8,000 kids there.
Wow.
So she said to me that I cannot sit in line because I used to sit in my mother's lap. So I just cannot eat. So that day I realized that we cannot give mothers, we can give food and education. So after 6 years, Modi ji, he was Chief Minister at that time of Gujarat. So he came to inaugurate our pharmacy college, and Shruti gave a very moving speech. So the next day newspaper published that Modi ji also had tears in his eyes after hearing Shruti Salad's speech.
Wow.
So now Shruti is married. She has 2 beautiful children, and she can, in addition to her life, she goes to nearby temple, inspiring people to lead good life. So she's coming from very challenging background, but now she's very well settled and inspire other people to lead a good life.
That's just incredible. I think when you hear these stories, you just feel like you want to go to Veeraitham straight away. In your world, what does true success look like? Because in our world, success looks like, being a millionaire or a billionaire. That's a success everyone talks about. But in your life, what does success look like?
In everyone's life, your life, my life, in everyone's life, I think peace and happiness is the success. Millionaire, billionaire is means. This is not the final goal. So you need to become millionaire. If you want to become billionaire, you become billionaire also. But make sure your happiness sustains with you. And as far as my life is concerned, I think touching divinity is the most, a rewarding thing for us. But I think it should be for everyone. It should be for everyone.
Thank you so much, Sadhviji. So I just had a couple quick last questions. Sadhviji, do you ever feel stressed?
What stress? Sometimes stress. For example, lots of people in this trip, they wanted to invite me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I really wanted to, I don't want to use the word please, but I wanted to respect everybody's request. But then time and traffic, I couldn't reach to everyone's house. So that's kind of stress, because I think that they are a little bit sad because I couldn't reach. But this kind of stress happens in my life, nothing else. When I'm not able to give enough time to people, that really makes me upset.
Okay. But do you manage to, so if someone's feeling stressed in their university, their work, their life right now, what would you say? So obviously the end goal is happiness, but what would you say, how can we bridge that gap between feeling constantly stressed and anxious?
Why do you feel stressed constantly? Your papers, deadlines?
Yeah, so there's always something keeping you busy, something keeping you scared to reach your end goal. And then we talk about happiness, but it feels like a foreign concept.
I know. It is stressful meeting deadlines and catching up with all your friends. I think we waste a lot of time, Yash.
We do.
Yeah, and then we get stressed up in the end,
Yeah.
Because our attraction for go to parties and talking to your friends, we have endless talks with our friends. I don't know what do they talk, but they just keep on talking. And then we run out of time, that's the problem. So if you plan yourself better, I think you're intelligent enough to write your nice papers.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just management of time is very, very important.
Thank you, Pujya Sadhviji. Okay, and one question I had was, if you could whisper just one message to the hearts of all the people listening today, something they could treasure with them forever, what would that one message be?
Gratitude. I think, Yash, we are too self-centered. We happen to forget what other people are doing for us or what they have done for us. We just think too much about ourselves. We never say thank you to nature. We never say thank you to society around us. People who have researched so many things for us, did we ever say thank you to people who invented COVID-19 vaccine for us? We never said thank you to them.
Yeah, we just expected that we deserve it.
We deserve it. Everything we think that people should do for us. And we never, and anything we don't, any small thing we don't get, we become very negative and we become very complaints for the things. I think we should learn how to appreciate, and gratitude practice is very important. That will change the entire way of thinking in your life.
That's really beautiful, because especially you mentioned mothers are so important, and yesterday was Mother's Day. What message would you give to people who don't maybe appreciate or don't speak to their parents as much as they should? Because sometimes you just take it for granted. You say that, my mother...
Yeah, I see young people, they're very irritated with their mothers.
So what can they do?
Mothers are a little bit slower. They are very fast. Their wives are also very fast. And mothers keep on repeating things because they want, have you eaten? Have you slept properly? all of those things, and kids get very irritated. Mom, I did it. You don't need to say it over and over again. So you should understand the feelings of mothers or from her point of view, you need to see. And I don't think so they expect much, just a little hello. So little, how are you? Did you eat food? I think small things will make huge difference. Small things. So we support a lot of single parent children. And when they come and ask me what shall we do, I always tell them, look after your mom. Because it was so hard for her to raise you up. With all its limited conditions, will you please look after her? And normally when we get married, we tend to forget our parents. So I think we should make it a point that we get their blessings. They're so important for us. The parents, society, and the nature.
And the nature. Thank you so much. And finally, I wanted to have maybe just 2 or 3 quick questions, a quick fire. So just 1 or 2 words, how would you respond? If you could have one superpower, what would you choose?
What superpower?
So one quality that you've reached the maximum of. So something that you could maximize any skill of yours.
Love.
Love.
Love. Capacity to love people more and more. Unconditional. No expectation. Just give love to people.
Wow. If you could have lunch or dinner with one person from the past, present or future, who would you choose?
Yash. Anyone. Yash. Everybody is beautiful. Everybody is beautiful.
And what is something that you're now looking forward to in the future?
I'm just making difference. Bringing more grace to people. In any which way I can help people, inspire them to do good for themselves and good for others. That will be very grateful.
And what is the most beautiful book that you have read in your life? If you could, you must have read loads of books, but if you could name one which really impacted you.
Lot of books have impacted me. Some scriptures have impacted me. Some other books have impacted me. I cannot really, we can say Uttaradhyan, but this is one of the scriptures which has impacted me.
Could you just maybe touch on what is Uttaradhyan?
Uttaradhyan is the last sermon of Tirthankar Mahabir.
Okay.
He said beautiful things in that book. So that's very beautiful. But I cannot say there's only one book impacted me. A lot of books impacted me.
Perfect. And last question is, what is the best piece of advice that someone has given you? Because you've helped change countless lives and you've given advice to so many people. But have you ever received one beautiful piece of advice someone has given you?
I think my Guru, Taima, has advised me that before reacting, think twice. Right? You can react to a situation very quickly, but she always taught us that you need to be very wisdomful before you react. And also, she said to us all the time that if you be trying to bring benefit or difference to lots of people's life, but biggest difference is if you do things with love and respect, that's the biggest favor you can do to yourself.
Wow. Thank you so much, Pujya Sadhviji. So I'm really, really grateful for your time today. This conversation has been a precious gift for me and I hope for everyone listening today. Your wisdom, your kindness, and the life you have dedicated to serving others is beyond inspiring. And thank you for the light you bring to this world and for starting SEVP in London. So to everyone listening, if you have ever felt disconnected from spirituality, if you have ever wondered about your purpose, I hope this conversation has given you something to hold on to. May this inspire you and perhaps guide you towards Virayathan. If you want to spend a week there, it will change your life. Pujya Sadhviji, please could you end this podcast with a Mangalik if possible?
Yeah, I will. But thank you very much, Yash. You're also very inspiring. So your parents have a big contribution in your life. And I'm very proud to see you. And in this Imperial College, you're able to do this. It's just incredible. I'm very hopeful with your efforts you will be able to inspire a lot of young people. So they do favor to themselves by bringing peace and favor to this world. I feel that young generation is a very capable generation. You have access to everything. So this capability should not be used only for yourself. It should be used for the bigger population, for betterment of bigger humanity. So thank you very much, Yash.
Thank you so much,
and
Pujya
my
Sadhguru.
countless blessings to you and to all your friends.
Thank you.
Namo Rantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Airyanam, Namo Vajjayanam, Namo Loi Sapasahunam, Eso Panchanamukaro, Sarva Pavapanasano, Mangalanancha Savvesim, Padamam Havai Mangalam, Chattari Mangalam, Arhanta Mangalam, Siddha Mangalam, Sahu Mangalam, Kevali Pannato Dhammo Mangalam, Chattari Luguttama, Arhanta Luguttama, Siddha Luguttama, Sahu Luguttama, Kevali Pannato Dhammo Luguttamo, Chattari Saranam Pavajami, Arhante Saranam Pavajami, Siddhe Saranam Pavajami, Sahu Saranam Pavajami, Kevali Pannatam Dhammam Saranam Pavajami, Upsarga Kshayamyanti Chidyante Vignavallaya, Manaprasannatameti Pujamani Jineshware, Sarva Mangala Mangalyam, Sarva Kalyana Karanam, Pradhanam Sarva Dharmanam, Jainam Jaitu Shasanam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was incredible. Perfect.
You are too good, Yash.